Woo! Woo, woo, woo. Thank you so much for being here for the last day. I can't believe we're doing it again. This one's going to be exciting because we have two amazing people joining that are doing some incredible things. And then we've got alumni that are coming on to talk about no-code AI and how you can leverage it with your expertise. And it's going to be really exciting. So I just want to give a couple of shout outs first. My gratitude definitely goes to Gabe, who has been with me all the way through, and he's woken up early to do this one. It's 6 a.m. at CST over there, or EST. I think it's EST. But he has been so supportive. I also want to give a shout out to Noah for joining the live stream yesterday and just not being rushed. It was great to just have quality time with him, talking about all different parts of entrepreneurship. And then I've been bombarded with messages, and I've noticed that we've got a lot of email notifications coming in from Social Juice. So looks like there's a lot of videos for us to scan through and get uploaded to YouTube. So thanks again for supporting me. And then also to the AppSumo team, give a big shout out to the ambassador team. So Nick Christensen, Erica, Marcelo for helping with the ambassador program, and then Jer from the creative team. I'm just really excited for the next chapter. And let's bring on the guests today. So we've got Harold, Max, Kat, and Sean. You're all my favorite people in the world right now because you've supported me and you jumped on today to do this call, and as you know I am burnt out. But I think Max, you said a little while ago in your content that you were also burnt out. So I'd love to talk to you when I come down to London, or even right now about some strategies. But let's go around the room. I think let's go to Harold. Please introduce yourself. Who are you? What's your experience? And why are you on this 100 days of no-code journey?
Hey Chris, thanks for having us. It's epic to see you how you host this series this week. Thanks for inviting us as well. It's great to see you again. It's been I think 4 months or so that you were participating in our no code and AI bootcamp. And just the same smell I saw in all our live sessions as well. You're so enthusiastic in everything you're doing. So yeah, I'm together with Max, I'm hosting the No Code and AI bootcamp. Kat and Chris and Sean were participants of our bootcamp, alumni, graduates, and we had a good time, isn't it? So yeah, excited to be here to tell a little bit more about our bootcamp, our program during this session. Thanks for having us.
No, that's great. Thank you for being there. And I think as well, if anybody does join, you just got to be really attentive and ask questions. Just be like a learner when you're in these situations, no matter what course you take. Just be attentive. So just if you're a student, reply to the emails and stuff. So let's go to Max. Max, the visionary. Please introduce yourself. And
yeah, of course. No, way too kind, Chris. Lovely to see you again. As Harold says. So I'm Max. I'm Harold's kind of partner in crime, running our no-code and AI bootcamps. And I run 100 days of no-code, which is soon to become 100 School in a few weeks' time. So yeah, we help people go from idea to reality. And I know we kind of took you on that journey as well, Chris. A few months back. So yeah, really excited to inspire a few more people today.
Yeah, thank you so much for all you've done, because you definitely gave me the boost that I needed to say, 2024 is going to be my year and I'm just going to go all in, even if it kills me. I mean, sorry, family, but it's been a tough week. but I think you have to do it sometimes just to really break that ceiling. So over to Kat. Lovely to meet you. We've not met, but I've seen your face on the website.
Hey everyone, I'm Kat from Belgium, and I'm an alumni from the 100 Days of No Code Bootcamp. And I can honestly say that it really changed my life to follow that bootcamp. So yeah, looking forward to share my story today.
Awesome. Belgium, shout out to Belgium. Shout out to everybody who's tuning in from all over the world. So we had Nashville in this morning. So it's just been incredible. So going over to Sean. Sean has been working with me behind the scenes. He was on yesterday. He was on Monday, maybe Wednesday as well. But he's a close ally, and he's doing some incredible things in a different niche, but similar as well. So please introduce yourself, Sean.
Thank you, Chris. And again, reiterating what everybody else has said, amazing job you've done this week. You and Gabe, absolutely fantastic. So I've literally just graduated from No Code, the May cohort, so number 9. Love that, absolutely brilliant. It works with me for my journey. Chris and I got involved together from October last year. And my particular niche is I'm looking specifically at doing things with people in the social enterprise sector. So being able to do things that are fast to deploy and also not expensive to deploy is really important. So loving this.
My alarm's going off to wake up. But so social enterprise, it's similar. I have the same kind of vision of you, and I was talking to you this morning, just popped in my head. Let's make it a not-for-profit instead, and really reinvest all the profits back into the community and see it grow and grow and grow. So we'll probably have to create another entity for that, but that's what's exciting me the most. So it's like creating. I've had a lot of issue in the past. I'm a career changer. I had a lot of difficulty getting rejected, and then laid off by AppSumo, funny enough. But there's a lot of people that I see on LinkedIn that have been laid off that are experts and are looking for their next role. So I want a tool, and I think it's important that I just share my MVP and then maybe just get it out there. So my initial MVP when I started the bootcamp was I wanted to create like a career coach where you would talk to the AI and it would give you next steps to take. So it got really, I created a tally form. You submitted your information. It would scan what I created a prompt, and it just gave me a couple of suggestions in a Google Doc. So that was like the basic stuff. But it's gone from that to small software solutions for podcasters. So now we have podcast concept generator, so that they give their goals, their niche, and their expertise, and then it will suggest a couple of ideas for them. And that's built on Chip. And I've been working behind the scenes with Chip on the product evolution. And then I've introduced them to AppSumo. So they might be launching soon, which is exciting to be a part of. But the overall goal of, massive transformation would be helping other people that have been laid off or are in a career change immediately find a job straight away. So it's crawling the internet to find who's been laid off and matching it with a perfect fit, but kind of automatically. I'd love to go around the room and learn a little bit about everybody else as well. So let's go to Harold again. Let's go in this sequence. What products have you built? Because I know you've got a variety of experience before you joined 100 Days of No Code. What did you do before?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I still recall you building that MVP and helping with your own career transition, basically equipping yourself with new skills and a whole new tool set of skills for landing a new roles. My own journey. I was following Max on Twitter. I was a Twitter lurker, just reading and get inspired by everything Max shared and other people shared. But I never built something myself. I run a company here in the Netherlands, and together with a technical co-founder, which works great. But yeah, I always had to ask him, can we do this? Can we do that? Which felt like, a little bit like, and not great, not that autonomy I was looking for. So when I was following Max, and he can tell more about how he started after me, but when he was following him and he launched this new course, the No Code and AI Bootcamp, I thought, I just need that to become more autonomous in my work, to be able to build my own IDs, whether that's an accountability tracker or partner, or whether that's just automations to run my own business. I can do this all by myself now after joining the course as a participant first. And after that, I loved it so much that I kept nudging Max for, hey, how can I help you? What can I do? And I'm part of Max's team now since early January 2022. So we were working for 2.5 years together. Never met the guy in person, and so I only know via Zoom and things like that he's real. But yeah, we are working close together for 2.5 years, and it's so much fun to help enthusiastic people like you all who are joining our No Code and AI bootcamp. Yeah, that's just a pleasure. Yeah, but I was following you, Max, from Twitter. I saw you started with the hashtag. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that, because that's where it originated.
Yeah, do you want to go ahead, Max?
Yeah, absolutely. It was funny. So I knew I needed to hire Harold after the first boot camp, because at the end of the first boot camp, we have kind of a little wrap-up call where everyone shares their key takeaways, and most people's key takeaways they include kind of some gratitude, some kind of thanks so much, and so many people were saying, "Oh, thanks so much, Harold, for supporting me on the boot camp," and he wasn't even part of the team. So that was kind of when I realized I needed to get him on the team, just because of the force of nature he is. But yeah, essentially my journey started in a very similar way, but probably a year and a half beforehand. So I was at university and was essentially like an ultimate non-techie, but also just like most of us here, also was just full of ideas and ran out of kind of notebooks, purely because I was just writing so many ideas every day down. I always could see opportunities around me, but I could never actually exploit them because I didn't have any skills to. But I was always kind of trying to find someone on campus to like build something with, and like finding the kind of the tech guys, but it never quite worked. So I thought, oh well, let's just find some other people to build this Airbnb for storage startup. But the problem was the whole team, or three of us, were kind of all non-technical. So we became very, very dependent on developers and got in this kind of vicious cycle of kind of wanting to add like the tiniest feature on our website. Like, could you just change the like button to like red, and then waiting like what felt like 2 months for that change to happen with developers. So that was kind of when I was like, gosh, okay, once that had failed, and when we kind of were moving so slowly, that was when I realized, wow, I need to take control of my own technical abilities. And that was where no code came in. I started to learn no code in lockdown when we all had a little bit of spare time on our hands. There wasn't really much else to do. So jumped on Twitter and shared a little tweet saying, I'm going to learn this skill for 100 days. And then probably that's where Harold saw some of my tweets as I was learning. And then I learned no code, built some cool projects. I felt so great that I wanted other people to have that feeling too. So that's when I created the bootcamp, and the rest is history. So we're about to start our 10th one. And yeah, I've been going for about 3 years now, so pretty cool.
I'd like to ask you about Maven, because it looks like a really cool like tech course creator tool, and I think maybe like a podcast boot camp on there would be really cool to do. So I need to talk to you about that, and I'll come down and talk to you in person about it, because I'd love to do a collab on that.
Absolutely.
And really leverage AI.
Absolutely, let's do it for sure.
Cool. So let's go to our amazing next guest, Kate, or is it Kat?
Kat.
Yeah. Okay, I remember that. Tell me about no code exits, please, or maybe your first MVP and what you built before no code exits.
It's a long story, but I will keep it short. So yeah, similar to Max and Harold, I always had this interest in startups and entrepreneurship, but I always got stuck because I couldn't code, or I didn't have the courage to get capital and that route that we all know from the media. So it was always just streaming and lurking on product hunt, admiring all the cool products that were released, but never really taking action. And then at one point I discovered Software, and Software is a web app builder, very easy to use, and in a few clicks you can create amazing directories. And a new world opened up for me. I used it to solve a problem that we had in the company I worked for. We really had some to keep it short, efficiency issues in the team. And if we asked our internal engineering team to solve it, they say, yeah, we can solve it, but it will take 6 months. So yeah, the whole team was frustrated. Everyone was burning out because yeah, it was not feasible to work like that. So I built in one day a solution with Software, and we kept using it for 2 years, and it really saved the sanity of my team. So yeah, I was hooked on no code from that moment, that I could build my own solutions without being dependent on other people or other people. Their roadmap was yeah, just the best feeling in the world. And then I discovered the no-code world on Twitter, and I discovered Max and his bootcamp, and I decided to join the bootcamp. And there I learned a lot more, different tools, but also more about the lean mindset, how you talk to users. Yeah, all pretty important skills that that were really important in launching my own products. And then during the bootcamp, I built my first MVP. And my first MVP was a little chatbot, and it was before ChatGPT. So then it was really impressive. Now it's not impressive anymore. But you could talk to this little chatbot, and it advised you which no-code tool was the best for your use case. And it was built on Landbot, and the website on Software, and there was also a directory part of it. And it was just a quirky, fun side project, but people really liked it, and it helps to give advice to people. And at a certain point, this project was acquired. Not for a big life-changing amount of money. I don't have a Lamborghini or a chalet in the Alps. But the most important was that it really gave me a confidence boost, because there was suddenly someone who wanted to pay for something that I built. That was amazing. And I got a lot of questions after that from people that were really just super excited that it was acquired, and they also wanted to know how I built it, how I sold it. So I thought, that is maybe an opportunity, and I started a newsletter, No Code Exits. And in the newsletter, I share stories in the beginning of people that built a product with no code and then exited, so made some money with it. And now I'm also doing just any no-code success story. So people that are building products and making money with these products, and I interview them. And at this moment, we have 10,000 subscribers, and it's just really fun to share these cool stories with other people who, just like us, are maybe lurking and dreaming about building their own stuff, and maybe need some of these stories to get started.
Yeah, and that is on Substack, isn't it?
Yeah, the newsletter is on Substack, but I have a whole website on Software, and also a directory with tools, and the directory with all the stories, so you can filter through it.
Well, I'd love to be interviewed and talk about what I'm building, and it'll be
yeah, that would be great. I'm always looking for stories.
Yeah, I'm looking for anybody who wants to interview me, so that would be cool. Well, thanks for sharing your story. And also, I think it is, we have to say that it is easy once you get in. That again, it's a very supportive community on Slack. there are one-to-one peer groups and also like peer groups with other people. You're matched with people, which is really cool, and I like that aspect of the community. Sorry, my voice is going, understandably, but it was just absolutely fun. And I said to Sean, you have to get into this because it's just another level, and you need that exposure, because what you have been discussing with me in like coaching calls is building a directory or crawling the internet and collecting data. And I thought, well, perfectly, let's get you in the boot camp. And I think that was a wise decision. So I want to go back to Sean and ask him, was it a wise decision, and what did you end up building?
Thank you, Chris. Yes, it was. It was a very wise decision. I must admit, I didn't appreciate when I started it how involved it would get you through the month. I thought it was going to be a couple of nights a week, but it wasn't. It really keeps you on your toes. It keeps you engaged, and it keeps you enthused. And I said at the end of the course, actually, I personally, I'm great at imposter syndrome. I've let that stop me so many times in the past. And for the month for me, I never experienced imposter syndrome whatsoever. I was just so enthused and motivated to do what I was learning. So that was fabulous for me. At the end of it, my MVP was actually a product called the Haunted Directory. So the website is thehaunted.directory. And I have an interest in paranormal, and I thought that would be a great thing to start with and to learn. So I didn't get too heavily into something that was too big to produce within that 1 month, and I focused on that. As Chris knows, my longer term aim is to do something of a matching platform for volunteers and for organisations that use volunteers, and to embrace AI really, and to get that matching up. So, like, there are so many job sites out there, but you've still got to put your CV in and then hope somebody's going to pick it up and come back to you. Well, I think that the next level in using no code is actually that the AI picks up the CV and sources a potential user of that volunteer with their skills and matches the two together. So that's the bigger project that I'm working on in the background at the moment.
Yeah, it's exactly where we're both heading, but just like I want people to come into the tech and marketing and startup space, and yours is helping volunteers. So I think we're on the same, and I think we've already been discussing about like a community merge and just focusing on podcast launch community instead of building separate communities, which is quite exciting because we talk about that. There's about 3 or 4 other people that have said they'd like to come in with me. So that's really exciting to see, because I know I can't grow it myself alone. I have to go back to Gabe. Sorry.
Yeah. And that, while you're just clearing your throat, that's exactly why where we clicked really last October when we met. And there are so many synergies in what Chris and I are doing, but we were doing them down almost parallel paths. That actually, if we combined and merged what we're doing together, then we're just increasing the audience and the potential for our products, which is just going to make it so much easier to develop and to get out there and to give people the benefits of what it offers.
You both also show to us that podcasters are really outstanding students of our bootcamp. You are, of course, you can speak well and you know what you want. That's clear. That's a clear thing, characteristic of the podcasters. And you both, I knew that Sean was referred to the bootcamp by Chris, who joined 1 round before, but you both had the same drive during the program to basically absorb everything we covered during the bootcamp. So it was really great to have you both, and yeah, great, awesome to see that you are on the same path, building things for podcasters, but also for your social enterprises. Yeah, that's really exciting. Yeah,
I feel like there's more impact that we can do by reinvesting constantly back into the community and growing it, because the engagement is so great and the quality of the members is so great that I want to protect that as much as possible. And with AppSumo backing us, I mean, it will become AppSumo's community as well, like a major merge then, which would be really cool. So I just want to go to some questions, so it's a little bit actionable as well. How can I pick up no code and get started? We go to Harold.
Sure. I'm happy to take this one, if that's okay, Harold. Amazing. Yeah, so I feel quite well placed at answering this, mainly because I've made every mistake in the book of starting my own no-code learning journey, and I still feel that today. Of all the, I guess the things or the hurdles that I did wrong when I was getting started, and I think some of the biggest mistakes you can have when trying to learn to no code is firstly just trying to learn it as a theoretical kind of skill, or learn it from a very conceptual level. And concepts like databases and APIs and all these things are very useful, and they will be, but it's hard to kind of learn them in isolation. And that is why I always recommend when you're starting to learn to no code, rather than kind of focusing purely on concepts, I would focus on an outlet, a tool, an outlet, a project that you can channel your energy into. And as a byproduct of building that project, you can learn those concepts in more interesting ways. So just like Sean built the haunted directory, something that's like intrinsically, motivating and interesting for him, you need to, or you can think of a project that aligns with your interests and then use that as an outlet for learning. So first one there is just make sure to use projects as an outlet for learning. And then the second point is around not diving into the hardest tools first. I think it's always important, especially if you're from a non-techie background, to get some quick wins, get some aha moments in there as soon as possible. And you're not really going to find that with some of the harder tools. Of course, some of the harder tools are more powerful. They come with a little bit more breadth and depth in terms of the functionality you can build. But it will take a while for you to have that first hit, that first magical moment. So I would recommend using something like Softer, as Kat did, and as many of us have done before, to really get your hands dirty and get that first project under your belt very quickly, within the first few days or week of you starting to build. So always start with a few easier tools before you progress. And then the last thing is community. So I tried to learn to no code on my own, and then I realized that I was banging my head against a wall and was too scared to kind of ask any questions because I thought they sounded really dumb. But being in a community of other people at the same level, but also empathetic, compassionate coaches around you that have been there, done that, and been on that same path is like game changing. So yeah, those three things. So start with a project, make sure you don't go too hard on the tools that you're learning first, and then make sure you're learning with community, and then you'll be all good to go. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
Yeah, I just want to add, I've used Scribe How on my own courses to help people run through how to set up Cast Magic, Resound, different tools that are in AppSumo, and I'll be using that a lot more now with all the tools that have featured during this live event. So it's really easy and like 101 guides on how to set things up. And what's great about it is it follows your mouse. There's another really cool tool that's a lifetime deal, not on AppSumo. I think we could probably talk to them about it, and it's called Screen Studio. You might see a lot of people using that. Is it will follow your mouse and it will zoom in. It's like an attention grabbing. You may have seen when Cast Magic joined on Monday and they shared that amazing 50% off for 12 months deal. I repurposed that and then added a Screen Studio or Share Studio video on it and put it into Riverside and all that good stuff. So that is Scribe How and Share Studio, which was a lifetime deal. So definitely worth checking out. But I love this conversation, and I love that you also touched a lot on community, because there isn't anything better that you can do than build a community around what you're doing and to work with other people and the collaborations are endless. And for podcasters, like you said, Harold, this is something that we do. We lean on each other. There's so much growth that we can achieve together when we do it together. And I always say, and my friends in my city say, why you always say that? You know, teamwork makes the dream work. So shout out to Anna and Tinash. I always say that to them. So teamwork makes the dream work. And I'm stand by that all the time. And I think that's what we're going to be doing with a new collab, Harold and Max. So I'm really excited. So I will also go to Kat and ask what tools you're using in your stack, just so we understand a little bit more about that. And then I think I saw somewhere that you do have another one, like a keyword tool. Yeah, I'd love for you to touch on that, please.
My favorite tool is actually still Softer. I just like it because it's so easy to use, but still it's really powerful, and they keep releasing new features. So yeah, I'm just a big fangirl. And Glide apps is also one I like. Also a very low learning curve, so easy to learn, and it's a little bit more dynamic than Softer. So I think these two are the best ones to get started with. And then build a keyword is my most recent project. I'm doing it with someone else, with Lee. He's also one of the instructors in the bootcamp, and he's a bubble expert. So he does more of the building in bubble, and I do more of the business and marketing side. And it started because we are scratching, as usual, our own itch. When you learn no code, suddenly you can build anything, and you really have to learn that it's not that because you can build it that you should build it, because building is probably the easy part, but it's getting customers to your website, it's selling, it's distribution. That is most of the time the challenging part, to really be able to grow it to a profitable product. So we built a keyword. We made a tool that will help you surface keywords that have high search volume and low competition. So that means that people are really looking for these things, and that it's feasible to rank in the top 10 in Google. So this means if you build a product around that keyword, you will have traffic on autopilot, so you don't need to worry about marketing or not too much. We've building very fast with Bubble. We created the MVP in 2 weeks, launched it on Product Hunt, got Product of the Day, and we are now 3 months running it, and we have 3,000 users. We added a library, and Lee's making constantly these cool new features that when in my previous job, when I asked for stupid small changes in our CMS, it would take years, I think. And now I ask Lee for, it would be great if I can manage the testimonials myself. And like in 2 hours, he made complete testimonial tool that I can manage. And it's just amazing to see how fast everything can go when you build with no code. So yeah, check it out, buildthekeyword.com, and I can recommend it if you don't have any business ideas or are looking for something that takes away a bit of the difficult marketing tasks.
Yeah, I think what you've just said there is there's a lot of people building, and it's really easy to get onto Product Hunt. Like it is easy to get on AppSumo if you know the right people, and I think it is what you know. It's who you know that's really going to help you get places. So stay involved within the no code community, the podcast launch community, the AppSumo community. These are really great communities to be a part of, and really, if you're serious about it, just go all in and ask for help. Noah always talks about this as well. So I'd love to go back to Harold and maybe just share some. Let me have a look at the actual questions, because I do tend to veer off a little bit. How can I be an effective leader for my user base?
Well, I think what's important, and if I understand your question correctly, for your user base, for a new product or for your podcast products, or I think what's important, and also how we approach building new products during our course, is that you start small. So you build a minimal viable product, an MVP, which fortunately is way easier these days with the no-code and AI tools around. And if you start small with just a minimal product, you can share this early on as well with potential users to check what they like about it, what they don't like about it, that's an important question too, whether they would pay for it. And then if you are in touch with, like Kat's example, if you're in touch with people who are really enthusiastic about it and who are open to pay for it, and more importantly, actually pay for it, you can grow the product together with them, and you can involve them in developing your product further. But the old way would be to invest, and I think I saw somewhere in the chat too, would be to invest a lot of money or money to hire expensive developers to build your ID, or time and energy to do this all yourself with code, learning how to code, and spending hours and hours to actually build this. That's basically the old way to build a complete product with lots and loads of features, which is actually quite a waste of time these days, I think, and a waste of money and energy as well. So nowadays you can, even in a few hours, you can spin off a minimal viable product that you can already share with your potential users to validate whether they like it, and from there you can be the leader, involving them in what they need, and discovering together with them how you can grow the product to serve them, because that's eventually the goal, of course. And with the no-code tools around, in our course we first show a tour around several tools, so people get the grasp of a few of those tools, get like some experience with them, and then eventually they are going to build their own MVPs and choose their own stack. So from all the tools we saw in the first 2 weeks, they pick a few, and then we build one minimal viable product, like Sean mentioned with his directory, or you did with the career transition helping tool. So you build a minimal viable product with one of those tools. So we are very action oriented, and really encouraging everyone to get in touch with your potential end users. And that's also, Max, you still have this slide in your presentations as well, your first website for the 100 days with the green colors, basically same colors as our name labels now here. You always said,
there's alignment here. AppSumo, let's do this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It doesn't have to look great or something, right? If it communicates the function, and people still signed up. A lot of people signed up to Max's first green page. So I love that example, and you still show it. It doesn't have to look good, as long as it functions or it offers value. You can get in touch with those users, and from there, show or involve them basically. I'm not sure, Kat, with Build a Keyword as well. I know, as I am a user of Build a Keyword, you constantly ask me a lot of questions to learn, right? So I think that's the way regarding leadership.
And it's true, it's a fast-paced boot camp, and it's something I always wanted to do. Right from the start, when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I joined zerotomastery.com. I don't know who that is with, but he teaches web development, but coding. and I learned a little bit of HTML and CSS, so I knew a little bit. So it intrigued me, but I thought this is going to take me a long time to commit, and income was my priority as well. But also, I took a bit of a weird route in that because I had to have surgery, I was limited. So I said, I really want to work with children and inspire them as well. So let's sign up for a leadership development program. And it was a big change in income because it was £90 a week volunteering just to cover not living expenses, but just to cover travel expenses. So £90 a week. But I just want to say that helped me change my perspective around money and impact and change. I want to be the change. I want to be the change that I want to see in the world. I want to make an impact. And I'm not motivated by money. I'm motivated by the change that can come within the community and the transformation. So if I hadn't have done that, I still would have been chasing money. And that's not the thing that motivates me. I'm happy to do my own thing and travel the world and do all of that great stuff. But my main focus is helping other people transition into the career that they want to and design it how they want to. So creating lots of different solutions around that with no code. And if you're thinking that a budget or having a lot of money is going to be a big stickler for you, think about it from this perspective. There will be return on investment because I'm backing you. The AppSumo community is backing you. 100 Days of No Code are backing you. And I think I'd go back to Sean in this. We have collaborated a lot with Chip, and they were on the No Code Bootcamp. So I'd love to talk to you about that and give you the space to share how has Chip came into your life, and how did it come into your life, and what are you doing with Chip right now?
There's a common denominator in this, Christopher. It's you. You put me into Chip. What I would like to say though is I just want to go back to Max's comments earlier for now. And I came into the no code month having been sort of given that opportunity. You put me forward to get into doing this, but I came into it and I had an idea of a product I wanted to develop. You said to me, "You'll probably change your mind somewhere along the lines," and I probably changed my mind every day for the first week. But I settled on something that was achievable and something that was important to me because it fit with my passion for the paranormal. So for everybody that's considering it, go in with an open mind. You will change your mind along the way because as you get to know more of the products, you will settle on something that's easy and achievable. And that's what gives you the confidence to continue. So do that. So you mentioned Chip. Again, Chris Cowden put me in touch with Chip. And I went and had a play on that product for a couple of days, just trying one or two silly little things. And I was really excited by it. And I thought, actually, this could be really, really handy. What could I do with it? So I set about doing a chip chat that helps people to develop a business model canvas, because I had challenges doing that when I was starting up a business a few years ago. And I very quickly realized the potential of Chip and how useful it is and how fantastic the guys, Scott and Sergey, are in particular in the background. And Scott picked up on what I'd done. I think probably about 24 hours of me doing the first iteration of this business model canvas product, and he's given me some further advice and he's helping me in the background to develop and refine it. But he wants to use it, and there's no further or no greater accolade, I think, for somebody who's brand new into a product, literally within the first week, throwing something out there as an idea, and the CEO going, "I really like this. I'd like to use it if you don't mind letting me do it." And so it's helping me to refine it, and I'm hoping I can open that up then to a broader audience. And so I've done that. I've got a second chip on the way as well, which is podcast related. And again, working on that. And you and I have had some conversations about elements from your product that we're integrating into mine. And then we're talking about actually, we're probably just going to roll this all up into one because it's greater than the sum of its parts in that way. So Chip's a fantastic product, and if you just want to play with flipping AI around and getting the AI asking you the questions and getting your knowledge out of your head, because sometimes the hardest thing is to just get it out of your head without some prompting. So getting the prompting product to ask you the questions, you give it your thoughts, your answers, and then it gives you the support, the advice, encouragement, alternatives, loads and loads of potential with it. I absolutely love it. We've signed up for the pro account already, and I could see by the end of 2024 that so MediaForce is the product that I'm using this with, and that's Media for Social Enterprise, but it's just a play on words. And I would imagine that that'll be a full agency account with Chip by the end of the year.
That's awesome. No, it's great. I think as well, we go back to the budget thing. You can start on a free plan, and they've already integrated GPT-4 as well. And they've got some amazing features coming out. And me and Sean are working with them. Well, I'm definitely every Tuesday at 11 a.m. I talk with Serge, and I tell him exactly what I want the platform to do, and then he builds it, ships it, and it's just exciting. I think right now we've got in total about 150 users, which is really cool and really exciting. But I want to go back to Max. I've shared my vision, and your mission just inspired me and made me think I can also try to get to where you are as well. So I'd love for you to share why you created it in the first place and what your big, massive goal is, and why does it have to be that number? Is there a specific reason why, or is it just because it just sounds cool?
It does sound cool. It does sound cool. It's I think it's more of a symbolic number than an actual number in the sense of basically we're trying to communicate we want to impact a lot of people, and 1 million people sounds like a lot of people. So that's how we kind of landed on that. But hopefully it's more, who knows. But essentially, I guess there's two parts to sort of my vision. I think initially I was on a very selfish endeavor of just trying to learn these skills so that I could build my own ideas. That's how it all started. I did not start with a very grand vision with all this kind of democratizing tech and closing the digital skills gap or all those things. It didn't start that way. But I think what happened in me or myself learning these skills, I really had a kind of that light bulb moment and that realization of, wow, like this energy and this excitement and this essentially this empowerment that these tools have given me and this education has given me would be a shame if a non-insignificant amount of people didn't have the same access to. And I could just say, well, if I can now do all these things as a result of these skills, what would happen if 1,000, 10,000, or 1 million people have the same skills? And what ripple effect does that create? Because as Sean is building, you're building a tool to help more founders come up with their initial idea and walk through that business model canvas. What ripple effect will that have? And that comes and starts from the fact that you have learned these tools and you're integrating this technology into your outlets of how you're impacting the world. So really, I guess the way I see it is education is this force multiplier to giving people the tools to create the impact they want to have. And Sean and Chris, and that's what you're doing. And so many other people on our programs are doing the same. So that's kind of where it's coming from. And really, we're just most excited about how we can bring more people into tech who aren't already there and bridging that gap. So that's really it. Yeah, hopefully that's exciting to see.
Yeah, I think in agreement. Sorry, it's like all I want to do is lower the barrier to entry for everything. So AppSumo lowers the barrier of entry to entrepreneurship and starting a side hustle, and they really push that. I want to lower the barrier of entry to podcasting and career changing. And then you, with no code and AI, I think that's somebody has to lead. Somebody has to lead and go first, and then the rest will follow. And I do feel like, when they say build it and they will come, and people say, no, that doesn't work. I think building in public and showing what you're working on and building, finding people that are on the same vision as you, that works. I'd love to just get some like overall arching like business tips for people that are shopping on AppSumo right now. What advice would you have for them on their side hustle or podcasting, AI, no code journey? Just like maybe 2 or 3 actionable steps.
Who's going to take that one?
Let's go to Kat, please. Thank you.
I think the most important is that you keep your focus in the beginning very small. So maybe you spotted a problem that you can solve, but you really have to focus on this one critical issue and build just one feature for that and start from there, and don't start thinking about all 1,000 other cool whistles and bells and things that you can add later. Just focus on one small step, get it out there, talk to people, get some feedback, get some first sales maybe, so you get motivation to keep going. Because if you just build on your own for 3 months and then launch it to realize that no one cares about it, then you will lose motivation, and that would really be a shame. So yeah, that's my main point of advice. Start small.
Yeah, small wins, just like what Harold or Max said. It's the small wins that compound, and I've seen that. And I think as well, it's you don't have to have a big community. You don't have to have a big influence. I might be hosting this event, but I think I said it yesterday. My community has 425 members in, and I have an email list that's less than 2,000 emails. Okay, so picture that. If you look on all my Instagrams and LinkedIn, it's less than 10,000 across everything. So if I can do it on a small budget with a small follow, maybe I do have AppSumo behind me, but other than that, it really is possible with limitations. I think we're in the right space for it. So I think I'll go to Max now. Harold, sorry, get my.
If I can add to this,
Mhm.
I would say
Yes.
it's also really important to really do it, because if I'm looking back at my own journey, I'm entrepreneurial definitely, but for building my own stuff, I was lurking on Twitter for years. In theory, I knew how it works, all the tools work, because I was just looking at them, and I was always comparing tools. Just like on AppSumo, there are so many great tools, but my recommendation would be just to pick 1, 2, or 3 and then stick with it and actually build things with it, because that's where you learn the most from. So in hindsight, I would have loved that I did that way earlier, so years before I actually joined the bootcamp, because you learn the most from actually building things. When you're looking at AppSumo these days, pick 1 or 2 tools that you love, pick them now, and actually start building with it, doing things. And if you need any help learning how to build things with no code and AI, of course, we are happy to guide you in July when our next cohort starts on the 8th of July. But my takeaway is just actually build things. Yeah, that's do it. Just do it. As the famous quote is.
No, I think it's good to do it, and it is just about getting started. And if you haven't read the $1 Million Weekend book, Noah talks all about that. Now, not how the law of 100, just get it done 100 times. That could be 100 podcast interviews or 100 emails or talking to 100 people about your podcast in person. I find if you talk to it with enthusiasm, people more are likely to be intrigued and ask more questions because, again, everybody likes talking about themselves. So just give them the chance to talk and talk and talk. And yeah, so.
I didn't knew the words before, but I think that was basically the tweet that convinced me back then to join Max's first bootcamp, is that analysis paralysis. So people get paralyzed by comparing tools, analyzing the features, what's possible with this tool, or the other tool does quite the same, or just comparing all the features. It gets you paralyzed. You stay inactive because you keep comparing them. So just pick the tool you love the most from the AppSumo deals now or from the no-code stack and actually start with it. So when Max tweeted about that, I thought, that really resonated with me. I felt like I was paralyzed maybe from that, and I wanted to learn how to act on it. I think that's just something that term I didn't knew it 3 years ago, but it resonates so much with me. Yeah.
It does, and it's like the 80-20 is a rule as well. That really does apply. So I want to go now to Tonya because she hasn't. I don't think you've heard of the No Code Bootcamp before, and I would love to hear what your reaction is to these guys and Kat and talking about no code and AI and integration, getting with your expertise. I can't hear you.
Actually, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I have not heard of no code, and I'm not sure that I fully understand even what that is, but I have enjoyed listening to the conversation this morning, and it's been very inspiring hearing what Max has had to say about what he is trying to accomplish. And again, Chris, your mission too has been very inspiring. But honestly, I can't speak a whole lot about that because I'm not real sure exactly what all that means. So the no code is just a little bit over my head there, but the conversation that I've been listening to has been extremely inspiring.
Yeah, I think so. Let's cover what that is because I was a non-techie. I still am, and I'm still still don't really. And I'm diving into it as much as possible. So let's go to the experts. What is no code, and what is involved in the entire bootcamp, like from stages and what you cover? I think it'd be good to just get an insight because it is an incredible program and stuff. But getting back to the pure basics of it, what is no code?
Sure. Yeah. Cool. So I should, in theory, know how to explain this quite well, considering I've been running a business around this for the last 3 years. This is on us in terms of how we talk about this and how accessible it is to other people. So I'm really glad that you asked that question. But essentially, there's kind of two ways you can build software or build websites, apps, or any kind of digital solution. One is with code, so you're writing out the code literally on your laptop, and you're kind of seeing. I'm not sure if you've sort of seen those screens where you can just see lines of code on a page. So that's one way of doing it. That's a little bit slower. You have a little bit more flexibility, but essentially it's harder to learn and a little bit more scary, more daunting for non-techies like me and basically everyone here. Or you can do it with no code. And no code is essentially a way to build the same software, apps, websites, digital solutions, but just without writing any syntax or without writing any code. So you're probably thinking, well, what do you do instead then? Are you just like, is it mind reading? Is it like, where's this coming from? Well, we're essentially visually building these digital solutions rather than writing the code. And what visually building these things looks like is essentially dragging and dropping different components of an app together. So for example, you've got every website has got a header, it's got a little hero section, it's got a like a login page or whatever. You're pulling these things together visually and then connecting the dots with logic. So that's it in its essence, and it's a little bit faster, a little bit cheaper, and a bit more flexible. So does that help? Let me know.
It does for me, because, and that's exactly what I thought that it was, but I didn't want to speak to that and then look a little crazy. But for people like me who has been in the tech space on the user side, I'm a previous banker and I worked with IT very closely. And then now coming into the entrepreneurial space and looking for apps coming from AppSumo or other entities, and using those and then trying to teach my clients how to use them. When I'm looking for things that are just exactly what you talked about, it's so much easier using technology when you can click and drag, change the colors, bring in a graphic, those types of things, because it actually makes our job so much easier. We can do the job ourselves as an entrepreneur or hire someone to assist us that doesn't necessarily have years of background of coding, because it's so much easier to learn. And, I have made the statement multiple times to Chris and to others that having these types of technologies has given me the capability to, I call it a marketing agency, if you will, to run in my own business without having to hire a huge team and have a huge salary. So by having the technologies that you guys are putting together has, number one, helped me to run very efficiently, has helped me to save dollars when it comes to staffing, and it has put me on a much faster learning curve because I've been able to learn more technology, more marketing, more of those types of things, just because you guys have given me the tools that I can expedite my learning and then bring in people to help teach them the very same thing. So I love you guys. I hope that makes sense.
No, that does,
Appreciate
and I think, yeah, I think there's a lot of tools on AppSumo that you can combine together in your workflow, and there's yeah, it's amazing. But I think when you join the no-code community, you realize how much effort goes into building them, and there's a deeper understanding. So I think that's what I wanted to get across is when you are leaving reviews on AppSumo, you're supporting a startup that is evolving. So you want to give them the most encouraging support, because it is hard to build a product. It is hard to put something out there and get validation from others. And they're on AppSumo not to get slated, but to get the feedback they need to grow and evolve the product. I want to go around the room a little bit and talk a little bit about AppSumo and what you like about the space. So I'll go to, or what you like about the company and how it's helping you in your business. So let's go to Harold again.
Yeah, like I said, there are so many great tools around, which I also see on AppSumo. I've just been lurking these days, of course, as well, while rooting for you, Chris here, and Gabe for running these events the whole week. That's just so inspiring. All those new tools that are launching here with the new possibilities, buybacks. With the new possibilities, so yeah, that's just exciting. Noah's own story is very inspiring as well, and basically is like a great overlap, a great match with what we are advocating. Like just to start small and just do it. So that's really inspiring. And then like the whole marketplace with all the tools, it's just like a candy store. We was chatting with Kat yesterday about this, preparing for this session, and she said, well, I'm going to take a look, but it might cost me some money because there are also all kind of cool tools. What I'm always looking for is when looking at the tools, whether they have like a connection, integration with Zapier. So whether there are automation possibilities to connect tools with other tools. So that's one of the criteria I'm always looking in. And I found Potion. I saw Potion with the personalized video reach out options. Really interesting for what's now on the marketplace. But yeah, there's so much to choose from. Kat, I still recall when you introduced yourself when you joined the bootcamp, Kat. You were saying that your colleagues, back then you worked at a corporate, your colleagues were calling you the head of tools because you knew a tool for everything. So yeah, you must be really fond of browsing AppSumo, isn't it?
Yes, it's very dangerous for me to check it out. I love tools.
What tools have you had a look at that have piqued your interest during the sale?
Recently, I've been looking to a course generator tool that I really like, because now I use Notion a lot to create courses, but this looked really, really interesting. And I bought some SEO tools before, because SEO tools can be very expensive, and I think I had a lifetime deal for writers and on AppSumo, and I've been using it a lot, so it was a great deal.
Yeah, I think there's one particular one that you should probably have a look at, and that's Brilliant Directories, because you can pay paywalls and different tier programs as well. So that's Brilliant Directories, and if you're a Plus member, you'll have a little extended access today. Have you, Tonya, used Brilliant Directories? And then let's just quickly go to what tools have you used or bought from AppSumo, and how are you going to implement them? And will you be checking out the No Code Bootcamp?
So, Chris, I have not bought Brilliant Directories, but I've looked at it 2 or 3 times this week since people have talked about it, and I probably will end up purchasing it. I was actually going to reach out to somebody that is in one of my communities that has been talking about it for months, and I was going to reach out and ask him some questions. But yes, I'm probably going to buy it. I have already bought and implemented Merlin. I've already bought Social Juice. When I left you your video review, I was like mind blown at how easy the process was, how professional the software looked. So that sold me, and just leaving you your review. But yes, I have bought it. I also have looked at, it's just left me, but I am more than likely going to do that. Yes. So the boot camp, I very well may be looking into the boot camp. I wrote that down to check it out. So I'll be looking at that today. Those are the ones that I have explored so far. I would like to add, Chris, when it comes to reviews, you mentioned that a while ago, and I would have loved for Max to have still been on, and maybe he can hear this. But when it comes to leaving reviews, I read all of the reviews. I read all of the questions. And this kind of goes back to Harold saying a while ago about overanalyzing. I love it when, especially a new one, oftentimes people come back and they just start attacking, like you say, they attack these new software companies coming in. But when I see that the founder is saying, we're addressing that, that's coming in a week, that's coming in a couple of months, and they show their roadmap that's full of what they're trying to do, that almost sells me right then and there, especially when you have somebody actively addressing those questions in reviews, regardless of whether it's something I'm really interested in or not. I see that they've got a roadmap of a future, and they're actively responding to people. That shows me that they're really looking at their customer service and their customer service overall experience. And so that to me means a lot. And so
Yeah.
I want the founders to know that I'm not the only one out there that means something to. So that's an important tip right there for them.
Yeah, I feel as well that is what we're doing, is we're trying to breed people that are going to be ambassadors and support them after their launch, so they continue to have success and can achieve their goals as a founder, whatever it might be. So we're up to a close here, and it's been great to have both Max, Kat, and Harold on today. It's just, I think it's come full circle, and hopefully I get invited to share and be like an expert inside the bootcamp. I think that would be amazing for me to be a part of. So excited for that.
Hereby we can do this. It's just you seeing how you run this whole week, Chris, is amazing. Yeah, lots of respect for how you set this up, and so many guests, and it runs so smoothly. So yeah, definitely come and tell about this during our bootcamp. It was great to have you as a participant in January. Sean later. So Tonya, you are welcome as
you.
well.
Thank you.
Tira in the chat. Yeah, would love to. People from your community. You both were so great already, Chris and Sean. So enthusiastic. So yeah, everyone is welcome in July, and it's going to be a very special edition in July because it's our 10th bootcamp. So it's an anniversary round. We have lots of special guests there. So yeah, maybe we see you there.
Yeah, thank you so much, and I appreciate you both, and I'll see you soon.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay,
Thanks for having us.
Okay, we'll just go to a
Thank
quick
you.
ad roll.
Have a nice Friday, all.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Oh, don't know how to do that, but let's do that. You can tell Gabe does this. Okay, so that's, I don't want to get distracted, but make sure to enter the giveaway because there's still time to enter it. And yeah, it's either a Cybertruck, just get on it. You've probably seen my emails by now, but I'll be doing one more big blast. So you'll be seeing a lot of that on social media the next few days. So, okay, so let's invite some amazing guests on. And thanks again, Harold, Max, and Kat for joining from 100 Days of No Code. So let's get rid of that. Sorry, we've don't know how to do that. See, this is where Gabe comes in and fixes it for us. Gabe, where are you? Give me one moment. Okay, here we are. We're back. See, so that's why you play to your special expertise. I am a connector, a host, but behind the scenes and creatives and graphics and all that pizzazz and the website building, that is his expertise. So I'm going to bring on Scott. We are all here. Let me change the share thing. Give me one moment. Here we are. Okay, so we're here today to talk about how we are integrating Cast Magic into our workflow. So Scott, you've been patiently waiting behind the scenes, so I'm going to go straight to you. Thanks for being, up for it, and I'm glad you're joining me today because you're joining with Tonya and Sean from inside my community, and we are advocates. I believe we're all affiliates of Cast Magic, so I'd love to. For you to introduce yourself, tell me where you work and what you do, and tell me all about what lights you up every day, and then how you use Cast Magic and how that works for you. Ooh, I can't hear your voice. No. You might need to check your settings.
Hear me now?
On your side, can you hear me? Yeah, I got you. I can hear you.
All right, cool. Yeah. So my name is Scott. I am. I'm a podcaster. I'm a photographer. I'm a community builder as well. I actually work for a company called Imagine. We are in the AI space as well for photographers. So we actually learn how photographers would edit and can edit for photographers in blazing fast speeds. But at Imagine, I am the community manager and also our podcast host, producer, editor, the whole 9 yards. And so I've been podcasting for so many years, and that that is something that like you have to find your workflows to make it more efficient, especially if you're the only person doing it. So that is something that I've come to build up and make more efficient over time. So and Cast Magic definitely is one of those pieces that falls into that puzzle to help with it, especially somebody who has to create every bit of content for the show. So.
Yeah, we've all felt your pain, and when I first started in 2021, you go back to some of the videos on YouTube, Talking with Experts podcast, you'll see that all the videos have chapters in, but at the time Cast Magic didn't exist, and I can remember timing myself to do it. And I think the Adil Amasi video I did, it took me 2 hours to write these chapters, and I said, this is so painful. Hopefully they eventually create a solution, and here we are. So thank goodness for Cast Magic and all the work they're doing. I do want to give a shout out to a couple of other tools that have been on my journey, because it wouldn't be fair to do it. So I want to give a shout out to Capshow for giving me a chance and inviting me to join their team. We just did an align in our values, and I got burnt out a little bit. But they gave me a chance, and I'm really grateful to Deirdre, Ash, Bonner, the rest of that community. But Cast Magic is just what suits me, and because it's a AppSumo's success story, there's just a lot more alignment with my entrepreneurial journey. So big shout out to them. You're doing amazing. I'm excited to see you at one of these events possibly. And so I'll go to Tonya. How are you using Cast Magic in your workflow? What does it look like, and why? Let's start with those two questions. I think that's quite a lot.
So I'm using it too for podcasting, pulling transcripts, promoting the guest that I bring into the podcast. I pull quite a few promotional assets, whether it be a blog or a newsletter, to post on LinkedIn. But I also pull quotes from the podcast and use those to showcase some of the things that the podcaster has said. One of the other things that I use it for that is extremely useful in my day-to-day business is, Chris, whether it's listening to something like the AppSumo Live, there's been so much value dropped in these sessions. So I may use the iOS recording app on the phone to record the value that's given, and then that drops into Cast Magic, and I can get tools from that, whether I can create a prompt to say, give me a checklist of all of the tools that were mentioned that I need to check out on AppSumo. And then it will give me a list of all of those tools. Or I may be having a coaching session with all of my clients, and I summarize all of the requests that I gave them to do from that recording. Another thing that I've done, and this has been one of the things that I really love about Cast Magic, is that you can go out to YouTube and pull, and I did this, and I show this every time I do a workshop, is they have this tool called Pages. And I went out because I've been trying to optimize my YouTube channel, and I went out and I pulled some strategy conversations from Mr. Beast, Patty, Daryl Eves, and some other influencers. You can pull in up to 5, but I pulled their strategy YouTube conversations into pages, and then I created a prompt to create me a YouTube strategy based upon their conversations. And then it created a strategy for me to use based upon their conversations. And then to be able to take that strategy and then implement their ideas, their goals that's specific to me. When you can do things like that, that's gold. And so, whether you're pulling in 5 influencers, whether it's a training session, whether it's a strategy, whatever that is, you're able to really uptick, if you will, your game in the space. And so, to create ebooks, courses, whatever, this tool does that for you. And so it's just amazing. And so those are some of the ways that I have implemented Cast Magic into my day-to-day workflow. It's daily that I use Cast Magic into my workflow. And I see that you're demoing it. It's just a phenomenal tool.
I'll just share some of the things that I'm doing. So what I did is I went to Pod News, and if you have a podcast, this is great. You can just search your podcast name inside of Pod News, and so let me share the full screen so you can see the full what I'm doing. I think it would be good to actually do a demo because we haven't really done one this week. So let me stop sharing and then share my entire screen. I'm not showing anything private. Okay, except for you can see yourself. Okay, that's LinkedIn. And that's okay. So what I've done is I go to the $1 Million Weekend book, which is $7 on AppSumo, and then we go to Pod News. So for instance, I just put Noah Kagan Presents, click search. It's going to come up with the podcast name. You're going to click on there, scroll down. You can listen to it directly there. But if you go to RSS feed, you click on this. He's hosting his podcast on Libsyn. So you copy that and you go to here and you click import URL. Now you can import from YouTube, Vimeo, Reels, TikTok. So if you see somebody and you want to try and replicate a viral clip, you can really like content hack them, which is really cool. So I'm just going to, in the wrong tab, upload RSS feed, which is from podcasts or like content, but you can upload videos. That's what I've been doing with these live streams. I've been downloading them from Restream, uploading them into Cast Magic in chunks because the recordings are so long, and then submitting them. And what it will do, if I go to your media library, it will show up here. So what I can do, I'll just go to one that's already saved. So EO Fire, which is Entrepreneurs on Fire's really good podcast, really good one you should listen to. And I just found a Neil Patel episode. So click on it. Let's just say it's already processed. This is the transcript. So this is his boom, shake the room, Fire Nation. JLD here, and welcome to Entrepreneurs on Fire, brought to you by HubSpot Podcast. If you've listened to that podcast, you will know his voice is in my head right now. But
yeah.
if you are like starting out, this is a great way to do prior research to see what other podcasts are doing and put your spin on it and say, oh, I really like what he's doing, or maybe he's put in too much ads in there. You just really want to do the research up front. So Cast Magic can do that, as well as content repurposing and marketing. So the transcript will remove all ums and ahs, which is great. And the spelling might need some correction, but I haven't really had to change much except for maybe the Cowden in my surname. So when I create the account, I add specific names so that it gets the transcript right. Now what I do now is go to speakers and identify the speakers. So speaker C might be just the the ad. I'll just put ad for now. And you can, so it says host and guest. You can create other roles. So let's just say you had a co-host or you wanted to have something else. Let's assume I've created that, done that. Then you click AI content, and then it will start generating content. Now, what we learned on Monday is that you can start with examples by clicking here, and it will give you ideas. So then what it's doing now is it's taking the context from that recording, giving you 10 title ideas, which you can modify. So make them longer, make them shorter, or add your unique prompt. When you go through the no-code bootcamp, you'll get an understanding of how to write a really effective prompt to get the best result. And then keywords, if you want to also put them in Bcast or PodOps for them to target. So let's just say on, I can't remember which day now, Gen X Women Pod with Megan Bennett and Leslie. They could go to Gen X podcasts that are doing really well and do some like content hacking and podcast hacking. So these are speaker bios, introductions. You get the point there. But most importantly, Repurpose.io are joining later because they both work in my workflow really well. So what I do is I take this and put this into the YouTube description, and then Repurpose.io already has the chapters inside. So all I have to do when I get to Repurpose is choose which day I want to schedule it, manually edit what I want the copy to be, and then schedule it or post it immediately. So you're going to see that from Hanny later, and it will blow your mind. So that's like an overview of AI content, but you can go one step further. Let's just say you've uploaded a video. You can go like this and copy this and then click Studio, and it will go to Studio and it might make art. Or if you want to go to transcript, you say, I just want this piece of Neil, and you clip media, and it will send it as a video or as an audio piece straight to your desktop, so you can listen to it in your own time or use it towards different pieces of content to add more context. But then you've got Magic Chat, which I think everybody loves. And I would love to kind of, before I go on to Magic Chat, is there anything that I've missed from like a generic demo that you want people to
I think
to
one of the
consider?
big things is that you can create your own prompts that are suited for your specific needs. So, for example, the show notes pre-made, prompt and the titles, they're good, but as your show grows and you need to find ways to optimize for, competing in the rankings or whatever it might be, you might need to make adjustments. So like over time, I've gotten to the point where I've got my own show notes prompt that I use for consistency across our show, as well as a title prompt. So that way I'm now optimizing the titles more specific to our show and where we want to be and how we want to compete with the keyword we're trying to compete, in for our show and things like that. And that is so powerful. And to play around with the custom prompts, I actually do start in Magic Chat, get it right, and then save that as a prompt.
Yes, I think it's good as well, not just to take what it gives you straight away, is to use prompt engineering and go back and forth and say, actually, I need it to be like this, and maybe it's not in my tone. And if it's not in your tone, you can go to emails you've previously written or posts you've previously written on LinkedIn or Facebook and use that, because it will write in your tone. I think that's really cool that they do that. I go to Sean next. What are some of your favorite parts about the transcript and the AI content?
For me, Chris, it's the flexibility, and as you've just been explaining there with Magic Chat, I do my own. I've got a couple of podcasts that I'm involved with. So one is my own paranormal one, another one about men's mental health, and then a couple that I do for customers as well. And being able to drill down with the customer and sort of adjust that prompt ever so slightly until they get the outputs that they're happy with, and then to be able to repeat that week in, week out with every new podcast that comes through is brilliant. I've got one customer who's done that, and I think she's on episode 15 at the moment, and we've gone through, I think, 4 iterations of show notes, starting with a basic prompt and a very slight refinement that I created initially, and then getting to what she likes about it, what she would like to change about it, and drilling down and drilling down and drilling down until we get something that she's really happy with. And to be able to do that, and then all of these other features that are available within Cast Magic, I know personally I'm literally scratching at the surface, but I'm really excited as this year continues to start to explore the other things like pages and like the other features that are in it. There are so many features in this product. You could probably spend a whole year learning them and still find that by the time you've mastered that, they've further developed it. You've got something new to play with.
Yeah, I think that's really good that you said that, because I think it goes back to what Harold and Max were saying, is pick up one tool and get really good at it and become like the evangelist for that brand, and work with them on the product evolution, because they will listen to you if you're, you know, more keen and getting involved in the product. And that's what the Cast Magic community is. I felt at home. It's a I'd say my second family is podcast launch community. My third family is the Cast Magic community. And I just want to kind of give a bit of a shout out. This event is dedicated to my granddad. And what I did was I asked him a couple of questions in his last moments, and I recorded it with the Cast Magic app. Just that it's personal, so I won't share that. But I think Cast Magic has so many use cases, and I've personally found my family from Ancestry, and I'm exploring all of that. And we've got long lost family all around the world, and I want to capture all their stories and put it all into like a bit of a book, because I don't really know the family out there. So it's really exciting. So there are multiple use cases. It's not just marketing and entrepreneurship. You can use it for anything, in-person meetings, or just as you're talking, like rambling, and you just streams of consciousness. So I'd like to go to Rafa. Thanks for waiting in the background so patiently. You mentioned in the private chat that you've not heard of it before, but I wanted to invite you to this call because you were building something similar to this during the No Code Bootcamp, and I'd love to get like your first impressions of this tool and how similar it was to your MVP.
Hello to all, and thank you for inviting me, Chris. Well, it's not that I didn't heard of Cast Magic. It's obviously one of the leaders in this area of AI, you know, and AI content. So yeah, my MVP in the bootcamp was about repurposing any kind of audio into social media content, basically. So it's not. So what I've done these months after the core and after the bootcamp is implementing this MVP in different platforms just for the sake of learning. So I did it in software. I did it in a bit in Bubble. I also did it a bit in Glide, and finally I'm developing it in WeWeb, and I will be launching it very soon. And the main feature that it's going to be launched is just that summarizing in a high quality. I think it's a high quality summary. Any audio that you can upload, you can search for podcast. So I integrated a podcast search inside the app, so you can search for any podcast, then you can select the episode, and then you can repurpose or summarize that episode. And you can also choose any YouTube video and transcribe it, summarize it, and then create a Twitter thread or a LinkedIn post. So basically that's a simple feature, but I think it's quite effective. And again, I did it all for the sake of learning the process after the bootcamp.
Yeah, it was fantastic, and it was great to do it with you. And I don't know if we were in the same peer group, but we were definitely back and forth on Slack a lot, and it was really fun. And Sean has just graduated, so I would connect you with each other.
I think I had a session with him actually, right, Sean?
Wow.
Yes, we did. You were in one of the sessions with me, helping me out with a couple of little issues that I had just getting my head around some of the database side of things. So databasing is one thing that I've definitely learned as a means of going on the boot camp as well. And Refa was a great help at that time.
So that's actually Gabe always tells me, and I'm learning all the time as well. It's I love the no code boot camp. I love everything about learning new skills. But he says always just keep on top of the agenda. So let's see, how can I create this? This is what this talk was supposed to be about. How can I create a no code SaaS and tell my story? So I'll go to Rafa, because you are building a lot of different things at the moment, and I want to talk about the founder one, finding a founder. So what are some effective ways to stay focused during locked in no code sessions?
Stay focused on one
Yeah.
project, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if I am the right person because I'm working in many things. No, but I mean, like everything in life, when you discover something new, like it was for me a couple of months ago, although I have been doing no code for years and I didn't know that, but when you suddenly like connect every dot, and obviously you get thrilled and you want to try everything and you want to put your hands on anything, right? With the months passing by, you see that you cannot like get to all the details that you want for every project that you started, so you start like prioritizing. So for me now, one of the key strategies or procedures that I follow in order to like maintain focus is I actually make a simple list of goals that are predictable, that are realistic, and that I can actually that are doable, right? I have a lot of experience with that with my actual job, which is digital marketing expert, right? So I do that with my clients all the time. But as you know, you don't always apply your knowledge to your things. And now, after the thrill, I'm starting to do it, and I'm starting to be more organized. And I'm just focusing on launching something first, and then get to the next, and then get to the next. And also, which I think is important, I'm trying to ask for, I'm trying to build a network, and I'm trying to ask for help as well, because in terms of building a software or a company, let's say a company which has like monetary interest on top of the project, right? I always believe that I prefer to have 1% of 1 million than 0%. 100% of zero, right? So I'd rather share my journey with others and learn from others, and also remove a bit of responsibility and workload, which is good.
Yeah, goes back to teamwork makes the dream work, and I think I should have done it way sooner. Is ask for help, because I am at this stage now exhausted from this event, and you can tell my voice is broken and stuff. So I think it's been great to have Gabe, but building a community around what you're doing and being inside a community that supports your goals is what you need to do when you start your journey, because it's just, if you're building something, it's doing it with somebody else and following the same passion. There's going to be so much more growth. So I want to go to Scott, because he is a community manager, and I'd love to get some community strategies on how to increase engagement as the community grows.
That's a really good question. So this has been a ongoing struggle with my time at Imagine, because we decided, based on witnessing what other companies in the photo industry have done with their communities, trying to leave Facebook is not a good decision for the photo industry. I love Circle. I'm in a lot of different Circle communities, Slack, right? But what always happens in the photo industry is once you leave Facebook groups, the photographers don't go, and it becomes like a deserted village. So we have to suffer and deal with the walls of Facebook and deal with figuring out how do we get past their low engagement algorithm, right? Like what prevents what would be good content from getting the reach. So what we've done is used a variety of different things between exporting what analytics they do give you, as well as a Chrome extension that's a scraper to pull additional data. And I pull it into a bunch of different tools. So we use Airtable at Imagine, and so I pull it into Airtable, or I'll pull it into Google Sheets or whatever it might be, and then do a bunch of different analysis to figure out what is working, what's not working. And we actually did determine what works really well is something called what I call fancy text. So it's like when you go to a Facebook group or just a regular Facebook post, and you start writing some text, and I think it's under 130 characters, you can then add a nice, beautiful background or whatever. Those do extremely well. So I started creating some by hand, and every single one was getting extremely high reach, extremely high engagement. So I then summed up what really worked extremely well, and in turn created two things. One is a prompt in a custom GTP or a my GPT, whatever, in ChatGPT, which then I can dump in whatever blog article that our content team has created that I need to promote in the community, or content surrounding the podcast episode to push that out more. And I put that prompt into Cast Magic. So I have a really dialed in prompt for both places so when I have a new episode that I need to promote in the community, every single time Cast Magic just tells me exactly what I call fancy text post to do, and then what to put in the comments that will get good reach. So as far as engagement goes, that's been extremely, extremely beneficial. Just figuring out what is working, creating a prompt to make it so that I don't have to do this from scratch every single time. And I can have regular literally daily, I'm posting content in our community that's day after day getting good reach, good engagement, and it's been working really well. So yeah, that's worked.
No, thank you for sharing. I think as well, I've focused primarily on keeping the community small and high quality, and the engagement has maintained really great. I think we got 425 members, and maybe like 350 maybe plus are active. So I think it's great to keep it in control. Well, what a couple of people have been saying is that there are like lifetime deal communities out there that have the same interests as us. So collaborating and doing more of that sounds like a great idea, and doing a merge. Now, there's 2 points to that is, do you collaborate with other companies, and have you seen a benefit in doing that for both brands? And what do you do to, educate them in terms of editing? And so do you do like masterminds or workshops?
Yeah. So on the community side, we have done cross community live streams and webinars and things like that. They're not as beneficial as far as increasing engagement or increasing membership in the community and things like that. They're definitely good for just engagement overall, but and for brand awareness overall, but they have not really helped as much as we would want for just keeping members active on both sides. But we're not going to stop, because it is a good thing to do for brand relations, for brand awareness, and for partnering on different, just in general. So we've done it on the community side and the podcast side.
Yeah, I think it's a long-term strategy, and right at the start of the journey, people were saying, if you're going to do a Facebook group, you're gonna have to invest a lot of time into it and put time into it. So I think it's 3 years now, and thankfully the result is highly engaged members that just want to stay in there and I think they just joined to just be in there all the time, so, which is fantastic. And have you also thought about merging with other not direct competitors, but indirect competitors in different markets to work with them and support your matching company?
No, because our community is a brand community. So we'd rather just do cross collaboration things rather than merge with other communities. But we do own a bunch of other communities that are not brand specific that we underutilize. But yeah, that's something that we've always considered is like, could we acquire other communities to help grow our more important communities, so to speak, for lack of better words.
Yeah.
So that that's something that we're always looking at. We've done it before, and we would consider doing it more. But yeah.
So for all those photographers out there, what piece of advice do you have for them when it comes to editing their photos, or just in the whole spectrum? I'm not familiar with it, so I'm just going to leave that to you as the expert.
Well, I mean, I could share how Imagine has helped for professional photographers primarily. So historically, photographers have been, let's say a photographer that photographs a wedding, they're photographing 4 or 5, even up to 10,000 photos at one wedding. That can take days and days to edit. And so by using AI, you could actually have it learn how you would do all that editing in the Adobe ecosystem, in whether it's Photoshop or Lightroom or something like that. And then what Imagine could do is actually edit it just like you. So what would take a wedding photographer days to edit can now be done in less than 10 minutes. So my advice would be, don't be scared to try AI tools that are not necessarily generative, because that's not what we do. Not tools that are designed to put a tree where a tree wasn't there, but rather tools that can take that mundane task off your plate and free up more time for you to spend on the creative work that you like, whether it's retouching a photo more, in depth, or whether it's going out and, photographing more clients, or whether it's hanging out with your family and your kids, or going on a vacation that you couldn't take last year because you were editing nonstop. So my advice would be, don't be scared of trying AI tools. There's a lot of them out there. Not all will, help as much as you might want. Some will, some won't, but all you got to do is try. Don't be scared of it. It is the future, so embrace it.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. And Rafa just said that he's going to check it out. And thanks, Rafa, for jumping on and talking about the no code, and everybody else. Let's just bring them back on. So just wanted to thank you all for joining me on Friday part 1. That was a bonus because Max and Harold couldn't do the latest session, and I really wanted to get them in and give you access to them, because the community is great and community is all me. So let's bring more community people in and get all together. So thank you so much for being here, Scott, Sean, and Tonya. I am going to have a rest now for the big show later with Chip, Cast Magic, Repurpose.io, and a couple of other people within the podcast launch community, and maybe some more AppSumo team members. Let's see. But thank you all, and I won't finish with the ads because I don't know how to work them, and I'll just end it like that. But thank you.